All right. Here we are, week 10. Ugly slate. We had a beautiful Saturday. Sean, thank you very much for that gift. That was
For
awesome.
sure. Absolutely.
That was a blessing. Rob is
Mm.
Rob's carrying a lot of weight for the boys here this NFL season. Rob's been going crazy. So
I'm just making up for what's going out on that Saturday card.
that's okay. This is Sundays, Saturdays are for the boys, Sundays are for the men. So that's all you. I'm hoping to pull my own weight this weekend. I all week we talked about it. I didn't like a single bet. Woke up this morning, didn't like a single bet, and then around 10:30, I just started to see things clearly. And I think it's a dog day afternoon. So let's get into Broncos Titans. We're in Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill's playing. Tennessee's given two. Fishy line to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, fishy, right? Because I think it opened at around 3, and I think it's hovered around 2.5. For the most part of the week. So it came down to 2.5, right? Tennessee's giving 2.5 there at home. I don't know. I think this is a weird Denver spot. I mean, I know what we all think of Russell Wilson and just his corniness, but to me, this is just one of those weird spots this time of year where Denver may come out of there with a win off the bye. I think they need it. Maybe they can make enough plays if they can limit Henry and Tennessee offense. But Sean, what do you think with Denver getting most of the action there on the spread?
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a Denver spot coming off the bye. I know there's a lot of guys banged up for Tennessee. They're getting Ryan Tannehill back, which sometimes, the team will raise their level when they have the backup quarterback. You get the starting quarterback back, and they take kind of a step back. But there's no way I'm putting my money on the Broncos here. I just don't trust them. This seems like a culture game to me. I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee wins a close game at the end. But I can't do it. It's definitely fishy.
So my thing is coaching. Clearly, it's Vrabel, but Tennessee's on a wild kick right now, and lost a tough one. They always play KC tough, and I think that just speaks volumes to Vrabel and his coaching. He's like the only dude that seems to figure out how to slow down Andy Reid consistently. Off a bye, Denver's in a good position. They should now make the playoffs. The rest of the AFC, besides like the top two guys, is bad. Like the Jets are okay. Denver should make a push now. I think this is the time. I'm not going to say Russell Wilson's going to cook, but if you score 20 points in this game, the total's at 39. You score 24 points, you win this football game, and they cover the spread. Like I just can't see how Tennessee
really not banking on a good game there.
No, it's going to be ugly as hell.
And none of this is like making me like Denver anymore in this spot. It's definitely becoming more of a hold your nose pick if you're going to play that spot. Like, would you rather play it on the spread or would you just take a money line?
I'd take the 2. I mean, the money line, there's not enough value there. I would just take the 2 points as insurance, personally. I'm taking Broncos +2 officially. This is like a straight hold your nose. I just like the Broncos in this spot more so than I dislike Tennessee. I'm a huge Mike Vrabel fan, but there's something about this game, that defense, you just have to stop Derrick Henry. And if you're able to put up 21 points, you'll win this game. It's as simple as that. Russell Wilson needs to start to earn that goddamn money. But that's enough talking about that slap football game. All right, let's go to Miami. This is another team that's kind of due. Miami's given 3 to the Browns right now. What do you guys think?
Miami's not a team I'm in a hurry to lay points with. I know they've been covering a bunch of these spreads, not as much recently, but their defense is awful. They can't stop anybody, and I think that's what's going to hold them back in the long run. Cleveland, I do think, could run the ball here and keep them in the game, but it's a pass for me completely, but I would lean Cleveland here.
I'm going to make Cleveland a play. I like what Sean said about that run game. I'm leaning on Chubb here, Mike. Snagging the 3.5 earlier in the week. 3.5. Yep. It looks like MGM at least might still be available, maybe even at 105. So I think you could still catch the hook if you're looking. But I like Cleveland a lot.
So do I. I think Cleveland wins this football game. The Tua is due for a loss.
Mhm.
Dolphins are due for a loss. It's just a great spot for the Browns. Everybody's
But that's
super
the thing.
down.
It's Tua's got a really good trend going when he's starting and finishing games, right? Like I don't think they've lost yet.
No, I don't think
They
so.
haven't.
right? So that's not to say they can't. Cleveland can't cover that 3.5. I mean, I like that. I like that being a close game, but I think it's been a sharp play all week, and I think it still is the Cleveland line. So I'm happy with making an official play today.
I'm wondering, like, this doesn't look like an important game to the Dolphins. Like, this is like, who cares about the Browns? We're actually in a good position to make the playoffs. Like, they've been beating all the teams they're supposed to. Like, I just feel like you're going to get a dud from the Dolphins this week. But that Dolphins defense, Sean, is so weird to me because, like, the first 3 quarters of every game, they can't stop anything. And then they buckle down in the fourth quarter. I can't figure them out. It's like, are they really good because their fourth quarter numbers are awesome, or are they horrific? So
Yeah, they do seem to get stops when it matters, which is, I guess, impressive. But, I mean, they don't stop anybody. I mean, the Lions are running up and down the field on them. The Bears are running up and down on the field on, like, whoever. The Ravens ran up and down the field on them. They're not strong really anywhere, any unit on that defense.
No, it's the thing that's
We'll see with
annoying-
Bradley Chubb, though. That could be a big difference maker.
Ooh, good point. The thing that I get annoyed about the Dolphins is that every time the opposing team looks like they're in the driver's seat, they just have that haymaker capability with Tyreek and Waddle. So it's like they're never out of it, and like you can never think a game is over or they're covering or not at any point in time. Because it can drop 14 in 2 minutes. Like no,
For sure.
not
And
any
that's
other
what
team.
scares me off the Browns here personally is they can just turn on the light show and score 20 points in a quarter.
Yeah,
I mean, the run after a catch ability with their playmakers is pretty impressive.
it's insane. All right, 2 official plays on the Browns. A lot of +3s. You could find a 3.5. Let's go to Kansas City, Sean. I know you had a lot of things to talk about this. They're laying 9.5 to the Jags. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the Jags here. I bought up to +10 at MGM -115. Kansas City hasn't covered a spread at home all year, and they haven't covered a spread against the AFC all year. For some reason, they're just not bringing it like they are when they go to the Niners and to the Cardinals like they have this year. They beat the shit out of the NFC this year, but they haven't brought the same intensity against the AFC. This seems like a couple too many points. The Jags, I think, have only lost 1-score games all year. I don't think they've lost by more than 10 points all year. So I'm riding Jacksonville here.
Do you think that's more so the AFC bringing their best stuff to Kansas City?
I would think so. And the familiarity, they play Kansas City more, so you're kind of more familiar with what they do, would be my guess, but I really have no idea.
I like that angle a lot. I mean, the Jags are still a tough football team. Their record doesn't show that their capabilities. Like I think they're going to hang tough with them. Doug Peterson, I mean, they're going to put up points down there. Personally, like 51.5. Like those 2 teams are definitely going to score the fucking rock. All right, let's go to Chicago. There's a lot of things to be said about this game. They're laying 3 to the Lions right now. Rob, what do you think?
I'm looking to make a play on the total on this one. I like the over here. I mentioned coming on, I was a little surprised to see the ticket count about 50-50 on the total here. I think it's a little higher than you'd expect with these 2 teams maybe a couple weeks ago with the 48.5. But just with the way I think Chicago's offense has opened up with Fields and, maybe, Detroit and their offense and their ability to put up some points, I think maybe that's why this has gotten a little higher than maybe you would have expected. But I still like taking the over. I think there's some decent money there to ride along a sharp play there on the over. And yeah, I mean, I think that would definitely make this one a little bit more exciting otherwise. But because, with the 3-point spread, I think it's more of a lean in divisional game for me, maybe to Detroit. I think there's a little bit of maybe a little bit more of a contrarian play on Detroit here on the line. But for me, I think the total is like more value there.
I think that line is spot on, right where it should be. It's not fishy, but I'm going to the well again, and it's the Lions for me, and I'm ready to get hurt again. I just, dude, like they are in so many football games. Should have beat the Cowboys. Hung really tough. Probably they put the best game up against the Eagles besides the Cardinals, but that game was just weird. Like the Lions ran with the birds all day. They play decent football. They just can't win football games. That's their issue.
I don't hate the play. I mean, I think Chicago is probably, you're looking at maybe the second most popular pick on the spread today in Chicago. So I don't hate the contrarian play at all. I'm riding with Detroit. I would lean Detroit as well in any pick 'em situation there. I like taking the points there.
Yeah, this is one of those teams I've said like 4 times. I'm not bet. They're on the do not bet list, but every week I find I'm like, God damn it, it's the freaking Lions again. Like the Lions are the play for me today. So that's another official play. Lions +3. All right, let's go to Pittsburgh. Sean's beloved Steelers.
Yeah, I'm dying on the hill today. I mean, they get their guy back. This is a rejuvenation for the entire locker room. I mean, it's a must win. This team hasn't quit yet. But TJ Watt wouldn't come back if this team was already just going to chalk the season away and go try and draft a new quarterback or whatever. Mike Tomlin's going to stand up here after the bye. I believe he's 11-3 straight up after the bye. I'm on the money line here. I think the Steelers come to play and show out in a big way today.
Yeah, they're talking a lot about the Steelers secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mika's not playing.
But the secondary, the reason all their secondary has been so good is because the D-line. And that's
he's
pretty
always
much
been
around the league, Sean. Like
he's always been the driving force of that team. I think they're 1-11 without him since he's been there. Like he is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Really?
Yeah.
They're 1-11 without TJ?
Yeah.
Damn, he's an animal. He's an animal.
He runs that entire defense.
Huge.
He changes the game.
Actually, I'm interested to watch that today. But they're definitely not mathematically out of the playoffs. Like they're not going to chalk this season up.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, so I like the Steelers today. The Saints are in like a weird space of like trying to figure out what the hell is going on down there. So when you're talking about like cultures and continuity in an organization, I'm rocking with the Steelers at home. Give me them straight up. I like that pick a lot, Sean.
Yeah, and you get the bye week to get George Pickens reacclimated in his number 2 role with Chase Claypool back and, the rookie quarterback. I mean, the bye week only helps for this team specifically, I think, getting TJ back and just more reps for the young guys.
You think NFL Youngboy has a big game?
I do. I actually do. The Saints defense, I really don't. They haven't been good all year. Yeah. Short week.
Stink.
Kenny's clearly likes him. He's been going to him like 7 times a game, I think, is the number. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you go to him?
Yeah, right.
And like he does all the things that like you can't like big time wide receivers don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes like run block and throwing dudes out of the fuck. I love that. That's like quietly one of my favorite players in the league. All right, probably the most hyped up game of the week. We're in Buffalo, now laying 6, hosting the Vikings, who are the most overhyped football team in the NFL right now. What do we think?
I think this is a pass, like with the whole Josh Allen situation. I think looks like he's going to give it a go today. I think he's active and ready to go. Maybe that's why the lines hang around the 6. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of movement towards Minnesota throughout the week. Like even before his status was up in the air, news came out about UCL injury, another evaluation. So I don't know. Now looking at it now, it looks like there's, most of the bets are coming in on Minnesota too. So I think ultimately it's just kind of a stay away from me. I don't see any reason to ride Kirk in this situation or fade Buffalo. I think, even if Allen weren't to play and this became a Chase Keenum game, I still wouldn't, hate a Buffalo play here, but I'm staying away either way, regardless.
I would take Case Keenum -3. I'd take Case Keenum -6. I would take whatever in this game. This is a straight get it out the mud. You have Josh Allen like saying we lost because the quarterback played like shit, and he's giving it a go, super banged up. I think like this is gonna be one of those games. At the end of it, everybody's like, that was one of those legendary, like career making moments for Josh Allen. He might not be doing it with his arm, but like he's gonna be running people the fuck over. You have Kirk Cousins on the PJs, like wearing everybody's chains, acting like a dork that he is, and then you have Josh Allen being Josh Allen. Like, what are we even talking about?
Polar opposites.
Yeah, what are we talking? Like, give me Josh Allen with one arm chopped off. I don't even give a shit. It's Josh Allen today. Fuck Kirk Cousins. I'm not even entertaining that discussion. Why are the Vikings getting so much love? They're barely beating bad football teams. They should have lost to Washington last week.
Yeah, for sure.
Taylor Heineke gave them that football game. They're barely beating bad football teams, and they got smoked by the good one that they played. They're not in the same stratosphere as Buffalo. So that's my take on it. I need to calm down. I'm sorry about that.
Are you, with that emotional of a take, are you taking Buffalo now with the 6? I mean, the 6 is as low as it's been, or I guess you saw it creep down to about 4.5, right? Earlier when the Allen news was up in the air, but are you happy with the 6 here?
I don't have them written down, but I'm absolutely, now that I just went on that tear, I have to take Buffalo.
You have to
take
it,
minus
right?
6, bro.
I feel like I'm asking you because I feel like I kind of have to ride with you on that train there. I mean, that was pretty.
But that, like, dude, that is like so spot on with like the narratives around Minnesota and like now the narratives around Buffalo. I'm like, what are we even talking about? I'm kind of sick of the Vikings. I'll tell you what, if the Vikings do win this football game, I keep like we've talked about this preseason. Like, I think the Vikings are a decent football team. Like they're winning that division, obviously. Like I don't think that they're bad, but it's like, why are they getting put in like the top 3 team conversation?
Yeah, they're not one of the best teams in the NFL. They're a good team, but they're not one of the best.
Yeah, they're in like 6 to 10.
Right.
I'll probably put them at like 6, 7.
Yeah, I think 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that.
And I think that's fair. Like, they're a good football team. They're not what people are making them out to be. You're not that guy. All right, I'm done. We gotta move on. Giants -5 with the Texans. That game is just so weird to me.
I got nothing.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That and I don't even
Not
think
worth the
anybody
time.
cares. Okay, this is another goofy ass one, but this one's weird to me. Raiders -4 against the Colts. It's only -4, and you literally just like cleaned house internally. That's saying Vegas is saying the Raiders suck? Sam Ellinger,
They're not much better.
Right, yeah.
They're a garbage pile too. And seeing that come down, what was that? I think I saw it at 6 earlier in the week, coming down to 4. Even with the Jeff Saturday news, right? Like I don't know. It's a little odd for me, and I think that's why I'm just staying away. At the end of the day from this one, I mean, I think you could. At this point, I don't see any reason to take the Colts.
No reason to take either one.
Either one, laying this. Yeah.
I'm not going to put hard-earned money on either team, but like I actually think weirdly the Colts win that football game.
Yeah, I mean the Raiders are missing 2 of the top 3 weapons.
Who's not playing? Darren Waller and
Hunter Renfrow are both on the IR.
Renfro's out. Yeah.
So it's just Devontae.
Yeah. So I mean.
Yeah.
And I mean, Derek Carr's already having a hard enough time moving the ball. That dude's as soon as I start singing his praises, he goes back to being a bitch boy.
Don't forget about Matt Collins, though. Your boy.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Ew, what are we even talking about? The NFL's ugly, bro.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit out there.
Well, the 4 o'clock slate's looking pretty ugly between this one. I mean, you got this one coming up late here, and then you really got one left here on the slate. I mean, you got all the questions at quarterback is what brought this whole already a kind of a weak slate. What I thought going into the week, and now you throw in the mess that's going to happen in Los Angeles with the battle of backups. You got what's going on in Las Vegas, which at the end of the day, you just kind of want to peep in on Red Zone and see. What is Jeff Saturday doing on the sidelines, right? Like 2 weeks removed from being on an ESPN booth, right? So I don't know. There's some interest there, but I don't know if you're going to see great football this afternoon.
Public hater number 1, Joe Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you being a hater, bro?
Certified hater.
Of all people, too, like another fellow Hall of Fame offensive lineman, like kind of like.
Yeah, you were at the Browns.
You're telling me the Browns are not completely out of the realm of like, hey, things aren't going well again. Let's just bring in, I don't know, an Hall of Famer, recently removed from the team for the rest of the year and see how it goes, right? Like you're telling me the Browns are above that.
And the 20 quarterbacks that they went through with him, like, and he's talking about this the most dysfunctional thing he's seen in the NFL. What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. Joe Thomas, you're a hater. All right. Rams Cardinals. Battle of the backups.
Next.
Yep. Next.
All right. We're in Lambeau.
Cole McCoy.
When was the last time the Packers were getting points in Lambeau?
This many?
I can't even think of the time.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers has had this many.
3.5. They're even giving you the hook. They're kind of begging you to take the Packers, I feel like. But are they? I don't even know.
No, I think it's because full disclosure, I made a play earlier in the week at Packers +5. I think it's just come down from a sharp play on the Packers, especially just like we said, like the amount of points that this is for Aaron Rodgers coming at home and just knowing all the trends that, how he fares against the spread, particularly at home as another, et cetera, right? Like I like it up to the 3.5. I like it with the hook. I do think it's becoming more of a trendy pick now, coming off even moving past the key numbers at 4, but I still like the Packers maybe even win the game.
That's what I was going to ask you. I do you think that they actually pull it off? I think this is like the great storyline for them to become relevant against. Like, beat the Cowboys at home, get back into the thick of things because like the NFC, like the wild card's wide open everywhere. So it's like their season's not over. Like if they win this one, I feel like they're not back, but they're like alive at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is their last stand. I just don't trust their offensive line play enough against Dallas's defensive line to back them here. But I feel like they are the play if you're going to play anything. But I'm staying away.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. I agree with you, Rob. I just don't know if I have the stomach for it. I was with them last week.
It doesn't look as pretty like at the 3.5. Like granted, like and I don't think it's as clear as a play there. I just think maybe there's a lot of juice taken already out of that, a lot of value sucked out of that Packers play. So it's probably wind up being a pass at the 3.5.
All right. I mean, I do worry about that O-line, D-line matchup. That could definitely get ugly fast. This is like a weirdly hyped up game. It like aligns way too much for the Niners to like beat the shit out of the Chargers. That like I like the Chargers.
Tonight's game is a very interesting. I'm leaning with you. I kind of like the Chargers here tonight, and I like it with the hook with the 7.5.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like these. I think these prime time games. I felt like kind of like leaning more towards, I don't know, fading the public pick or maybe even in the favorite. And a lot of these spots have been like useful. I don't know, but I don't know. What do you think, Sean? Do you think the Chargers have it like? Are you buying into like the latest Niner hype, like after the McCaffrey acquisition? Like I know he's a hot pick for like, I think you can go to any bet that or any book that you have an app for and find a boost for Christian McCaffrey this week. Like there's a lot of love out there for him and the Niners are getting a lot of love. And I mean, do you think they're one of the top 3 teams in the NFC or like, where do they rank compared to like say Minnesota for you?
I would take them over Minnesota. I mean, they're just more seasoned. They can run the ball on whoever, and they can rush the passer against anybody. I just don't like the matchup here for the Chargers. They can't stop the run, and that's all the Niners are going to want to do. They're going to have Christian McCaffrey just more ready, more plays, more packages. I'm staying away from it completely. I don't like the matchup, but it's a ton of points, so I'm not mad at you taking the 7.5.
I think I'm making it official Chargers plus 7.5. Strictly spot bet. And I think Justin Herbert actually shows out tonight because he's going to have to. Niners are going to dictate tempo, game style. They're going to do what they want to do. So Justin Herbert's going to have to do what he has to do. And he's just going to have to make throws. This is their only shot. Do 7.5. The team's not that bad, and the Niners aren't that good. That's too many points for me, and I'm just looking at the market, and everybody loves the Niners. The too many stars aligning for the Niners that it's like got to be the Chargers. That's my stance on it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. I think you're in the right spot. It's not a play for me.
We'll see. I'm on all ugly dogs today, so this could just be a dirty Sunday.
There's a couple dog spots. You bring, like you mentioned all the dogs you like I think there's a couple teaser spots out there too. Like if you look at Cleveland catching 3, I mean, depending on whether you want the 6 or the 7 point, say you want just the 6-point teaser. We mentioned Denver. Getting them to 8.5 isn't a bad number. You also have the Steelers at home. Getting them to 8 isn't a bad number at home. I mean, that's 2 right there. I think that are half decent teaser plays. So I take either of those and anything exotic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at Browns, Broncos, Lions, Chargers, and you could even take the Bills money line. Like they're all the ones are
Mhm.
like at good numbers that you can put a nice spicy little teaser together and get great numbers. Do I advise doing that? No, because I'm gonna go 500. But you just all those numbers and the spots to me, I like those plays, and they're all the teams that I fucking hate.
Yeah,
And I
but
just don't. Why do I like to hurt? Like, why do I like to feel pain on something?
you're a glutton for punishment.
I guess so, dude. I can't help myself. It's all the ugly football teams. Well, any prop
It's
bets
not
you
the
guys
it's
like?
not the ugly football teams. It's the pretty numbers that you're attracted to. That's what
That's
it is.
right.
Remember that.
That's right. You're right. You're right. I think
Shiny
Stephon
numbers.
Diggs has a nice revenge game against the Vikings today.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think who else is going
I
to
think
have a
DeAndre
good
Swift is going to have a pretty good game against the Bears here. I think they're finally going to give him some real carries here. I've seen some reports that he's been pretty pissed off about his workload, and I think they're going to get him right today.
Well,
I think fantasy owners of DeAndre Swift have been pretty pissed off about
Yeah, that's
his
me,
workload.
yep.
So I'll speak on behalf of yourself, myself, and others that let's as much as Williams has filled in really well for that offense at times. I think we know what kind of talent DeAndre is, at least local fellow too. So let's start. I think he's got to get his touches in now. I think he's ready to go after that injury.
Jamal Williams fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line to fucking lose to the Cowboys, so he's on my list.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit. DeAndre Swift's an animal. I don't even understand why you overthink by not giving him the ball. Is he a top 5 back in the league?
Well,
Well,
like
I think so.
you brought up. Now I'm thinking about it. Isn't that Deuce's job, right? Is he in control of that rotation like he was in Philly? Where weren't we asking like the same questions as Philly
Yeah,
fans?
yep.
Like, the running backs that were getting used, and now in Detroit you have 2 running backs that seem, again at times, really capable of being used well in this offense, right? How's Deuce like? Is he involved in mixing them up and distributing carries and workloads? So, I'm definitely pulling for Swift to get increased workload this week.
I guess Deuce just doesn't think DeAndre Swift is built like that. Like he's not a workhorse back, and going off of injuries throughout his career, maybe he's not. But what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Give the man the ball to win some games. He's
Yeah,
clearly
more.
your best offensive weapon. Get him the rock. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
No, quiet slate for
I don't
me
think-
today.
How many plays you got? 1,
Yeah.
2.
2. Yeah,
Jags Steelers.
I overextended myself per usual. We
As
are
always,
on
yeah.
for quite a bit of money today, so
Volume shooters.
it is what it is. I thoroughly
Definitely
enjoy the 1 o'clock to 7:30 torture. It's what we live for. All right, official cards coming out shortly. Everybody, until next time. That felt like